Good day, guys, and welcome back to Fashion Upcycled, where we challenge the usual perception of fashion and explore how conventional, or unconventional materials become wearable garments. I am Joshua Ogalia, and with me here is Oluwashe John.
That's me.
Yeah, that's him. Today we will be focusing on another very, very unconventional material and two that has been turned to an elegant and wonderful fashion material, fashion equipment. Oh no, no, not equipment. What's the word for it? Fashion.
Um,
Who's gonna get it first?
Fashion garments.
Yeah. Fashion garment, yeah. And we are focusing on how a symbol of trade and economic exchange has now become a symbol of elegance, a symbol of a unique culture, and it has been reborn as fashion pieces. And yeah, we explore how yesterday's money steps off the streets and into the studio. And here we are, fashion upcycled, coins,
Coins.
clothes, currency, coins as clothes, as fashion materials. It's very, very, very wonderful. It's we don't nobody's even expecting it, and yeah, here we are. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I think when I first heard about it, something that I'm giving to someone else, something that is a means of trade, something that is a means of battering with other people, I'm putting it on my body now and showing it in front of everybody. Something I bet people, I thought about this when I said, will people try to steal this from me when I finish making it? I feel like, why wearing this out? Am I trying to make other people jealous that I have money on me? Wow, no. Well, am I actually going to do this? But then, well, yeah, now we're actually doing it. So
Yeah,
let's get into it.
yeah. So what makes currency suitable for fashion? What makes currency suitable for fashion, Che?
Well, when I think about currency, it's not that exactly I would say it's as available as our other topics, but I would say that when I'm thinking about it, it's actually, like I would say, it's actually surprisingly versatile. Not just like money, but currency as a whole is actually surprisingly versatile. And when you're talking about fashion, we're actually touching it. When we're talking about sustainable fashion, we're talking about clothes that actually will last more than we're trying to look beyond fast fashion and think about clothes that we can keep with us for a very long time. And since currency is very versatile and actually hard to hard to damage, it's actually something we can use. What do you think?
For me, I think that to properly start these things off on a very, very ground surface level, it's important to understand why money even got to become a sustainable fashion. Because as it turns out, currency is surprisingly versatile and it is a creative material. So like coins, we could say that they are small, they are durable, and they are metallic.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would say that starting off, those three criterias, they are small, they are durable, they are metallic, are like the reasons why they became part of sustainable fashion. Because obviously, yeah, nobody will use a money that is good, like a new means naira note or a new means dollar note to make as a fashion um
Uh,
clothes or garments you get. So the reason why they stepped out of the industry, the money, the economic industry into the studios is because maybe because yeah, they were small, they were durable, they were metallic, that's for the coins. But more also because they were
Kind of worn out.
yes, they were worn out, yeah. And this and because we're still getting to that part. So because they are small, they are durable, they are metallic, it now makes them perfect for jewelries, it makes them perfect for belts, it makes them perfect for decorating clothing. And then there's banknotes. There's banknotes. If they are worn out, it doesn't matter. They have the unique colors, they have the unique patterns, they have their unique textures, and this makes them powerful design elements to turn them into elegant, iconic fashion garments.
Well, that's a very good point. When it comes to the texture of money, it's actually very suitable for clothing. When you're thinking about how am I going to sew this together, when you're sewing paper together, it's actually pretty easy to sew paper together, and it's actually very comfortable. Putting when you put have you ever put paper on your skin before?
Yeah.
Well, and did you find it like scratchy or uncomfortable in any way?
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, since since banknotes are the same, it's actually be very appropriate to put on your body.
Yeah, and it's very, very appropriate for layering, folding, weaving into dresses, into fashion pieces, and there's also quite a lot of it. So it's not a problem for designers to find and gather these materials. Yeah, and we not all since large sorry not at all since large amount of old currency and damaged coins are removed from circulation each year. In fact, many of them usually end up as waste.
Exactly. Since this money that no one will use anymore, this money that is so worn out, this money that is just some people even look at this money and say, ah, this is way too ugly for me to use. You know that some people would rather prefer to use fresh banknotes, this new money for all this new stuff, like, and all the old one, since it doesn't look as good, since it's not as appealing to the eye, they
Yeah.
just throw it away.
Yeah, and physical properties aside currency, they also carry symbolic power, and with each note or coin, there is a story being told behind it. So a dress made from banknotes or a belt made of coins or an accessory of any kind, it isn't just meant for spending, it's meant for storytelling. There's always a story to tell behind it, there's always a background behind it and all that. Yeah, and it could be a story about history, it could be a story about culture and national identity and or even economic change. Yeah, maybe the economy that year was maybe the strongest economy, or maybe the economy that year was still developing, or maybe the economy was coming up, or maybe the economy took a downturn. Yeah, so it has big stories to tell. And then when these elements, when they are woven into fashion, the garments do more than look good. They communicate a message, which is like one of the most important things of all. They communicate a message. A message. So it's not just fascinating. It's not just fascinating. It's not just intriguing. It makes everyday money into wearable art. So we're talking about fashion heritage, fashion legacy. We're talking about iconic things being told here. You get iconic stories being passed across, iconic messages being passed across. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, when you're trying to pass something on, it's usually with money. Like I said, it's things that are usually used for trading, things that are usually used as a medium of exchange. When you're thinking of passing something along, you usually think about passing money.
Yeah,
So I feel like that. I feel like currency embodies that idea just perfectly.
yeah,
Like when you're trying to, like you said before, all these different things they have a story behind them. And when you're thinking about money, whatever kind of currency it comes from, whatever country's initials there, whatever president's face is on the bill, whatever number is carved on it, there's always a story behind it.
yeah,
That's exactly what we're saying here.
yeah.
Whatever kind of money you have, whatever currency, whatever it's coming from, there's always going to be some kind of story behind it.
Yeah, yeah, there's always going to be a message to tell, a story behind it. And yeah, there's always something that we have to say. So, guys, we'll be back shortly after the break to dissect more on this topic. Yeah, and yeah, we hope you enjoy a wonderful time ahead in Fashion Upcycled. Guys, stay tuned. We'll be back.
It was the easiest thing for us to create, really, our mantra. The mantra is, "This is us. We create value. We believe in the work of our hands. We use local resources to serve local communities. We imagine experiences and design possibilities." True African fashion, on some level, is about the material. The material is really important to African fashion. And the process of extracting that material is something that is a direct...
Okay, guys, welcome back. That was a good break. Let's get back into the topic. Since we already said we're talking about old currency and coins, we need to see exactly how these old materials will actually able to promote sustainability in our society.
Yeah, so if you want to actually promote sustainability from wearable art made from old currency, it introduces a very, very unique angle. So like every year, millions of banknotes are withdrawn from circulation, like we said earlier. And due to wear and tear, or maybe changes in currency designs, coins too, over time, they get to be withdrawn as well. So we see that they no longer serve economic purpose. so they are discarded. Some designers even decide to work with old currencies, seeing it as sort of an opportunity for innovation, an opportunity for development. Yeah. So continue. What do you think?
Well, I feel like this is just one big way of them making a statement, like saying, "Ah, all this old money. What are we going to do with it now? Since no one is going to use it for spending, I might as well just take it and use it for myself. Who knows? Who knows what I'll be able to do with it?" I feel
Yes.
like when these designers decided to pick all this old currency off the ground, off whatever they found, they decided that it was going to be. They decided they were going to do something with it, do something creative, do something innovative, do something that would actually be able to show that all this old stuff that no one wants to spend anymore can actually be used to can actually be used in some other way.
Yeah, and by transforming this old currency into fashion pieces, we see that designers are giving money another purpose instead of us discarding them, withdrawing them from the outside, withdrawing these coins and throwing them. We see that fashion designers, they are giving them more purpose. They are giving them different abilities, different usage opportunities, and this is not just even as a medium of exchange, but as a way of making a statement in the fashion industry. And yes, they are doing that. Yes, they are.
Yes, you're right. In many ways, like since sustainable fashion, its main enemy is usually fast fashion.
Yeah.
And when you're working with coins and currency, then you're gonna have to slow things down when you're using them. Different, whether it's a coin or whether if it's a banknote, whether if it's just anything at all. When you're working with this, you're going to have to be very careful on how you use it. Whatever process you use to put it together, you're going to have to be very careful. You're going to have to make it sure that it's precise. You're going to have to make sure that it is is carefully put together, whatever way you put it together.
And yeah, you're right. So by slowing things down and showing people the importance of ethnical production, you are you are working with these old currencies, you're working with these coins, and each of them, they are carefully crafted, they are carefully perfected, often by hand. So and by doing this, you are showing people the right way to go through it. It's not just a fast fashion, it's something that will last over time. It's something that will be sustainable. It's something that for decades to come, it will still be in vogue, even in its own right, even in its own field, even in its own space and all that. And yes, some people think that sustainability is limited to only certain materials, but no, that's not true. If old currency can be reused creatively, then everyday waste also holds potential. Although not necessarily every day, but like most everyday waste, they hold potential. Yeah.
Yes, yes, you're definitely right about that. I feel like this shows that slower consumption can also be a good thing. Whatever waste you're using, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of waste it is. Well, yes, it does matter what kind of waste it is, but no matter but the waste you're using, it can still be transformed into something useful. Whether it's going to be metallic, whether it's paper, whether it's leather, whether it's wool, whatever it is, or whatever it comes from, or whatever material it's made from, it can still be useful in some way.
Yeah. It can, and in the end, old-fashioned currencies as old currencies as fashion materials, they send a message not just about saving the environment, but also about changing our usual view of value. So in 1 minute or 30 seconds, that last statement, changing our usual view of value. What do you have to say about that?
Well, when I think about changing our usual view of value, I would say that when we think about value, we usually think about what people are after at this very moment. What kind of trend is going on? Like I feel like the number one rule of value is if the more people want it, the more people want it, the lower your chances of getting it, or the more people want it, the higher the cost will be. That is the general rule of this economy. That is the general rule of our economy in general.
Yeah, yeah, that's you're right. You're very, very right. That's very, very wonderful, very, very beautiful statement from you. So, well, guys, we'll be back after the break, and we'll discuss more about this topic from the view of other people. Yeah, we'll discuss more about this topic from the view of other people. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, guys. Right after that short break, I'm sure it was enjoyable for all of us.
Yeah, wonderful messages from our sponsors. Big shout out to them. Beautiful people. So right now we'll be going into segment 3, whereby we'll be viewing this wonderful idea from the fashion industry. How has the community embraced it? How have they taken it? And yeah, so we see that even if these designs end up looking good on the runway, not everyone will feel the same way about them. You get, not everyone will feel happy. Not everyone will feel clean or straight or just free in their mind about this. Some viewers see wearable art as a bit wearable art made from old currency as a bit innovative and as a bit bold. But not just about that, it sparks conversations about wealth. And many see it as a creative way of preserving history, especially when the currency is no longer in circulation, or to them it embodies the idea that value goes beyond price tags. Yeah, value goes beyond price tags. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. When you're talking about money, you usually talk about how it's going to be spent. That is literally what most people talk about when they're talking about money. They only talk about how they're going to spend it. But other people, they see it as more than just that. Money holds identity for many people. It holds national identity, especially since it's coming from different nations. And a national identity, that's something that people take very seriously in this world. Their nation and what they stand for. It's also embodied the currency they use. It also embodies that currency they use also embodies that as well. And not just how it's spent. The currency itself, whatever it's printed on it, the faces that are fastened on it, whatever number, that currency itself embodies the nation's identity as well.
Yeah, and like I said a few moments ago, some people don't feel the same way. Some people feel uncomfortable with the concept, even as much as it embodies history, stories, and stuff like that. Some people feel very uncomfortable with the concept. They usually find it controversial. After all, money is often seen as a national symbol tied to culture, tied to leadership, tied to collective identity. So some people see this thing as controversial. And why do you think some people see this thing as a very controversial act?
Well, when you're talking about fashion, you're just talking about how I'm going to make it look good. How am I going to present it to other people? But when we're talking about money, like you said, it's a national symbol for some people. And people take national identity very seriously, like on a very deep level. People's perception about it might start to think that when you're taking all this old money, when you're taking about all this old currency, and you're just trying to make it into a piece of art, in a way you're mocking the nation of where that money came from, or you're mocking its people. Some people actually see it that way. They see it, like you said, as controversial.
Yeah, they do, and that's very true. And exactly, a designers use them in clothing that may be seen as disrespectful. People's perception can also be shaped by the messages being the design. So, what do you think about this?
Well, I feel like well, yes, if I saw someone using my own currency, using the currency of my country in such a way, at first glance, I would also see it as disrespectful in some way. Yes, I would see it as disrespectful because that's the money that from my homeland. What we use. That's what we use to trade with each other. That's what we use as a medium of exchange. And if somebody were going to use it in such a way that would just, I mean, I don't know if people are actually going to wear are people actually going to wear this thing out?
Yeah.
What I used to trade with is that I would just feel like insulted by that in such a way, and I understand if people would see that as disrespectful.
Yeah, that's very true. Some designers usually use old currency and coins to push out all sorts of statements. Some use such old currencies and coins to comment on inequality, inflation, or the obsession with wealth, while others just use it to simply highlight sustainability. So some people's motives are just pure, they're just clean, their minds are just pure, they just use it just for the sake of sustainability, just for the sake of fashion, while some people use it with other ulterior motives. So while we are criticizing some other people, while the fashion industry is criticizing some other people and saying that, this people, they don't have good motives, they don't have clear motives. Some people are saying, this is actually calm, this is actually good, this is actually alright, I don't have a problem with it, you get. And so even if you think about it, the public's perception, their perception often depends on the context of what is made. Their perception often depends on the context of what is made. And if they are presented as art, they are widely appreciated. But when imagine in everyday life, they push boundaries and challenge social norms. Yeah.
I feel like that's actually in a way kind of shaky. Since like you said, if it's arts, people can actually accept that because arts is something that everybody can enjoy. Something that when you see it, you can actually appreciate it. Something that everyone can enjoy, appreciate, and just think about and actually share together. When it's arts, when it's presented as arts, that's when people can actually accept it. But if you use it as a way to push out a statement, to challenge whatever is going on in society, challenge norms, challenge ideas, challenge whatever trend is going on, challenge political views, challenge challenge cultural ideas, whatever, then it can also then there's some people who would see that as actually they will actually be offended by that.
Yeah, yeah, and in the end, I guess that fashion made from old currency usually does exactly what fashion does, and usually makes us pause, question, and reflect a lot of things here. And as we come to the end, we discover that one thing is clear there: sustainable fashion can be more about promoting environmental awareness. It can also be about redefining value. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. That is undeniably true about what we're talking about. The use of all these materials, it's about redefining not only value but also people's ideas on the very concept of using currency as fashion. Because even though there are some people who may not accept it, no matter what form it is in, it is not about what form it is in. It's about the idea behind it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're very, very right. So, guys, that's it. We finally come to the end of week 4, which was very, very impactful, which was very, very enlightening. Yeah, old currency and coins as wearable art yet. As wearable art, yeah, we talked about making what makes this currency suitable for fashion. We talked about how it promotes sustainability. We also talked about the views of people on this art, on these materials, on these fabrics, and what are their perceptions. Yes, guys, we thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Fashion Upcycles. We thank our sponsors for their wonderful act, for their wonderful deeds here. Thank you very much, guys. Be sure to stay tuned in our next episode as we talk about yet another conventional topic with defining the world of fashion while telling the story of human creativity. And don't forget, yeah, we are Fashion Upcycled, where we challenge the usual perception of fashion and explore how unconventional materials become wearable garments. Till then, stay tuned. This is Fashion Upcycled. Do
Have
have a
a
great
great
day.
day.